Guys, so as you guys probably know, uh, tomorrow is the union budget for India, and there's a lot of speculation currently flying around which sectors could benefit and how what influence it could have on the market. And so basically, I'm just looking at a few price levels within Nifty, which I think could be touched in the coming few weeks, and which I think investors should probably have their eyes on. So diving straight into the charts, let me remove the EMAs. We can probably add them back for a bit of clarity. So if you zoom out a little bit, right? Yep. So there are a couple of long range trend lines which have been active right from the COVID crash in March of 2020. So we corrected all the way down to 7,400 here. And since then, there's been this trend line which roughly held for a while. So it was tested once here, another time here, but then we broke below it. And we came back and we back tested it as resistance. If you see right here, so we got rejected exactly at the trend line and also at this horizontal resistance, horizontal price region of 18,265. So this looks like the region where Nifty is probably going to face a bit of resistance in the coming few days. And you can see, so we tested it here, got rejected, came back down, tested this second day trend line, which I'm tracking, which could also be a resistance. And but if you sort of zoom out and take a look at it, right, it just looks like this huge bull flag. So we were on this uptrend right up to here, then we came back down, uh, and we're sort of consolidating in this range. So let me zoom in to the charts, and if you see right here, yep, there's this range, and it's sort of playing out exactly. So this range of 18,400 roughly, and this of 16,800 to 16,400 could be where we see Nifty consolidate for a while, and that's fine, right? So what we as investors could do is just sort of play the ranges. So good stocks will probably correct whenever Nifty comes here. We could buy them and then sell them when it come and hits its head here, or we could just sort of keep averaging into stocks whenever you see Nifty come down and you see a significant move down in the stocks that you're tracking. And that is probably how I'm going to be tracking the market for the next few weeks. And a few of the stocks that I believe in and I have considerable holdings in, and which I think will generate wealth in the long term, right, are of the HDFC Group. And I'm going to take the next few minutes to sort of run through a few stocks from the HDFC Group, which I personally am invested in and I think have a lot of room to grow and are good long term bets, in my opinion. And I'm opening up the weekly for HDFC Bank. And so you must have, you're either living under a rock or ignoring it on purpose if you haven't at least heard of HDFC Bank in some shape or form. My salary account is with them, and yep, I personally like their customer service ethos and how they go out of their way to make sure customers are comfortable, right? And it's a short recipe for customer success, and it's sort of reflected in their price movement as well. So you can see that there's this upward rising channel which HDFC has been trading in right from 2018. So we tested this lower end of the trend line as support, came up, got rejected, came back, tested this as support, came up, got rejected, came back down. And then March 2020, and COVID happened. And yep, but we broke above it again, came up, made this new all-time high, came back down, tested this trend line again as support, came back up, got rejected, came back down. So this trend line has basically held support for quite a while till we broke down below it in the past few weeks, right? But where we've taken support is again interesting because there's another trend line which started during the COVID crash. Got tested once here, tested once here, tested once here, and we've come back and tested it again. And where have we taken support? It's also a region of horizontal area of value. So we tested this as support, tested this as resistance, sorry, in December 2020, and price has interacted with it again here and we've sort of held support here. So this could be a good place to buy if you get confirmation on the daily chart. So if you get a bullish hammer on the daily or the 4 hourly, that sort of confirms that investors are tracking this price range and are buying. So, but if that support breaks, then you have your next support at 1414, and then you could come back down again. This level of 1350 is the next obvious support that I see on the weekly, but hopefully we don't break down to those levels. So, and let me just open up the daily. There's this trend line resistance playing out as well. Yep. If I look at it here, so price got rejected here, came back down, got rejected again, got rejected, broke above it, got rejected. Yep. So basically, price needs to break up above this trend line resistance, retest it as support, as in come back down, test one of these horizontal regions as support, and then make the next move upwards. So that is what I see happening in HDFC Bank. Let me move on to their main stock, as in the stock for the HDFC Group in its entirety, right? And currently, price is interacting with two trend lines. One which I've drawn, which is a bit of a subjective one, and they started right in April of 2017, and we've tested it multiple times in the past, and we're testing it again. And there's another trend line, slightly recent one here, which has been tested multiple times again, and then we've come back down. And then there's also this horizontal level of 24 up to 2450 is currently. So there are multiple factors, it's just a confluence of multiple factors, which has me believing that this area could be a good buying opportunity for HDFC. But again, I could be wrong. No one's ever right 100% of the time in the market. So wait for confirmation before any trades. Right. And then the same thing could happen here. There is this trend line resistance. So price would have to break above it, come back, retest it as support, and then make the next move upwards. Moving on to HDFC AMC. Great stock. Fundamentally, nothing wrong with it. Great potential as well. I think I was doing a bit of measurement from its all-time high. And you can probably sort of see the same thing here. So there's this trend line, which was resistance in April 2019, but then it got flipped as support, and we've tested it multiple times. But now we've broken below it, and we've sort of bottomed out at this level of 2100, which is a horizontal area of value, right? And again, if this level holds, if you get confirmation of buying pressure, this could be a good area to be buying into it. And hopefully this breaks above this trend line, comes back and tests it, and then makes the next move upwards, right? And I think there's a lot of bullishness in the narrative around AMCs, especially because people don't want to be buying open stocks and taking risks. And asset management companies basically take your money and then handle your assets for you. So I am a believer in that narrative, and I hold HDFC AMC as well. And right now, this looks at to be attractively priced. And again, it's not buying advice; it's just my view on where I think the stock will go. So again, wait for confirmation. Wait for confirmation of buying pressure before opening any positions in this stock. And moving on to HDFC Life, really good stock. And if you zoom out, it's in this sort of improvised bull flag, so to speak. So there was this uptrend which started right in March, and we went up all the way to 7,700, and then we got rejected. Then we've been trading in this downward channel for a while. We tested it here, broke above it, got rejected, tested it here. And we also had this trend line as support with multiple tests, which we've now broken under. But where have we bottomed out? At this trend line? Tested once, and we're here holding it to support for now. And there's also confluence of this horizontal level, resistance in the past and support here. So again, good company, fundamentally nothing wrong with it. Good cash flow, very low debt, if I remember correct. And there's also confluence of multiple technical factors, right? Two trend lines. and also this horizontal level of support. And again, this could be a good place to be buying in if there's confirmation of buying pressure, right? So HDFC Bank and HDFC Group at least are market leaders, and they have multiple awesome products that people love. And I am bullish at least in the short to long term future of these stocks, right? But again, all trades have to be taken only on confirmation of buying support. And I could probably make a different video on what constitutes buying pressure. So, for instance, these wicks are examples of buying pressure, right? So basically, price came down to this level, and there were buyers, and they pushed the price back up. So the presence of buyers is basically buying pressure, but you can also see that it's getting rejected at this resistance. So there needs to be buying pressure sufficient to break above, come back and test this as support, and then make the next move upwards. So that's it from me. Like hardly 2 to 3 people watch these videos till the end, but short-term pain for long-term gain. Hopefully one day hundreds will watch this. So if there are any suggestions on stocks to chart or anything, please do drop a comment. Helps with the algorithm. So yep, thank you and happy trading.